On this episode, we smoked the Thin Red Line by Fatboy Cigars, a 6.5 by 56 Maduro, retailing for $8. This Nicaraguan Puro is wrapped with a Nicaraguan Maduro wrapper, and we are looking forward to that. I'm your host, Johnny MIDAS, and you're listening to Burn Line Podcast. Burn Line Podcast. The burn line on a well-crafted cigar is straight and sharp as a razor, much like our wit and wisdom. And what's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, over the age of 21. This is Burn Line Podcast, coming to you not live from the Hot Box, the smoky back room where deals are struck and fortunes are made. I'm your host, Johnny Midas, and I am joined by your other host, Nick McCann. Nick, how are we doing this morning?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. We are all fueled up with these Americanos from Bantam Coffee down the road.
Nice.
Shout out Bantam.
And bundled up.
And bundled up for the cold. Happy winter, everybody.
It's a crisp fall day. Would you say it's still fall?
I mean, officially it is, right?
Yeah.
Isn't winter like December 20-something?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Like the winter solstice.
Something
December
like
21
that, yeah.
is it the first day of winter?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wild.
Fucking pagans.
Shit gets real cold way before that.
Yeah, right. God, someone forgot to tell Gettysburg. All right, so we are smoking this Thin Red Line by Fatboy Cigars. Excited to smoke this. So, of course, Fatboy's sponsors of the show, and they have some really good sticks. So I can't wait to jump into this one. Here's what I'm thinking, Nick. Since this is a large cigar, why don't we go ahead and get it cut and lit, and then we'll kind of do all of our other stuff.
Don't twist my arm.
And I have a surprise for you and everybody else.
What?
The unveiling of the official Johnny Midas lighter.
Oh.
So, yeah. All right, so I'm not going to talk about the presentation until after we get a cut and lit.
Sweet.
Yeah, take some Instagram pics. Nice cellophane. Look, there's some age on that cello, too.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah.
I
Nice,
like
salty yellow.
the tape that they. I don't know if that's something.
Oh, yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna save.
It actually comes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that part. So why don't we go ahead and get these clipped? And the official cutting is brought to you by Fatboy Cigars. The bold and delicious flavors of premium hand-selected tobacco leaves are highlighted in the original Jacked cigar by Fatboy Cigars, as well as the Jacked 2. And don't forget to try the Fatboy Cigars Boots on the Ground series. For every cigar you purchase in this series, Fatboy Cigars will donate $1 to charities benefiting our frontline heroes. And, of course, this Thin Red Line, which is for firefighters, the Fallen Firefighters Foundation.
Yep.
$1 for every cigar purchase, which is fantastic. And
Amazing.
Look at that. You've got plume on your cigar, right?
Tooth.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
Mine is not toothy.
I got the good one.
You got the good one.
Shout out to Fatboy Cigars for sending the Brick, the best one, and Johnny Midas, the second best one.
Nice. Closed foot. Love that.
I'm super excited.
I'm going to start calling this the pigtail cap, or this style of pigtail cap, the flat cap.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to call it.
It's like a shortened pigtail.
It's like the Bahique, where they
Correct.
twist the pigtail and snip it
Yeah.
instead of curling it around like you'd see on a Carreras.
Yeah. Well, I think they describe the size even as Bahique-esque.
And it is.
Yeah, for
As
sure.
Someone who has smoked a real Bahique, hashtag not worth $300. And as always, we remind you to clip that cigar with authority, no limp-wristed clipping allowed. I was using my Craftsman's bench, open-ended double guillotine, and Nick has a similar double guillotine, open-ended. Just go ahead and tap out the end of our cigar. Look, see? Every time I do this,
Beautiful.
very rare that I'll have a cigar that nothing comes out.
Do you still do it every time you smoke a cigar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, every time I smoke. It just, just removing that little thing of scraping flecks off your tongue, you know? Mm-hmm. All right, so cold draw. Not much of one because there's a closed foot.
You get a lot of the wrapper taste on my tongue. Really good. Just kind of like a sweet, darker, chocolatey.
Yes. Of course, you have the dried fruit in there.
Raisiny, yeah. Yeah, just really good, like kind of oily Maduro wrapper.
All right, it is time to light these cigars. The official lighting is brought to you by Johnny Midas's new lighter. So here's the big reveal. Okay,
Uh-oh.
actually, I'm going to show you two things. The first, I bought as an example for our listeners. Check these scissors out.
So those are skizzers.
So the center is like a shuriken,
Yeah.
but it has scissor levers. Now look, this is why I bought this, because it's gold.
Cohiba.
Yeah, see that branding? Look at that. This is not a Cohiba product.
What?
Yes, Cohiba does not make this, does not sponsor it, does not promote it, but you can buy this from a factory in China.
Really?
Yeah. So it's an example of the counterfeiting that goes on. Like, this isn't even a cigar. This is a faux gold-plated cigar cutter.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't use it for the cutting because it doesn't actually work very well. The blades are so thin, they push apart.
Oh, I could see that, yeah.
And it leaves a little pigtail in the middle, kind of.
Huh.
So it sort of tears at the center. It clips the outside very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a really cool looking gizmo, and I bought it just because it is a fake Cohiba product.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's one that I would lay in the humidor, like next to. Like,
yeah,
that's like
display.
that's like a show off accoutrement. Yeah.
Definitely. And it fits the theme. It's gold.
100%.
All right, so are you ready?
Let's go.
Okay, this is the official. Look how small it is. Fits
That was
on my
tiny.
hand. This is the official
Oh my goodness!
Johnny Midas lighter.
It's
Check
a
it
gold
out.
bar.
It is a Credit Suisse gold bar
What?
lighter. Soft flame butane.
What? What?
So this is it. And we're going to post this on the grams. I have only 3 more of these in existence. This is a 10-ounce gold bar replica that is actually a soft flame butane lighter. And you have a chance to own this piece of history, which we'll get into in a little bit. So I am going to light up my cigar with this gold bar because hashtag Johnny Midas.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
And since it's a closed foot, I'm going to try to just smoke the wrapper leaf here.
Toast for a quick second and then pull. Pull. Oh, man. The smoke getting off the foot is delicious. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Ooh. Okay, so I'm smoking just that toasted wrapper on the end. Oh, that is interesting. First of all, I'm getting a surprising cedar note, like a surprisingly heavy cedar note.
Hundo P, absolutely cedar. Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's like they took this wrapper leaf and sandwiched it between 2 cedar boards. And then I've got some like lighter earth, you know, not dark peaty earth, but like a lighter earth, and a touch of pepper, and definitely like some chocolate.
This is taking me back to some of my first cigars that I ever had, because I started smoking in like the fall, winter months.
Oh yeah,
It's like being outside, breathing this kind of air in.
yeah.
This taste, man, this is wonderful.
I do like a cooler temperature. I feel like it heightens my senses. All right. Nice. Okay, so I've got a genuine burn going on here. This will be interesting. And let's talk socials. So for those of you out there in the interwebs, you can reach us, burnlinepodcast@gmail.com, and be sure to follow us on the Instagrams and what else are we on? Threads, X, Twitter, whatever the hell it's called.
Just turn notifications on Spotify.
Turn notifications on Spotify. You'll know right when your next episode of greatness drops.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube as well.
Yep.
And, we should start doing some, like, actual videos because YouTube is just the audio from the podcast with,
Yeah.
a background picture.
Yeah. Some people don't have Spotify, which I understand. But yeah, let's just make sure it has my face in it and not yours.
Well, I was thinking supplemental, not like the whole podcast. Not trying to...
Yeah. I want the 30-second shorts to have
Yeah,
my
yeah.
face and not yours.
Yeah, totally we can do that. No, and I'm not throwing stones or anything, but I've found that video cigar podcasts are incredibly boring unless they have something more than a cigar they're smoking while talking. Like, I don't need to look at you, especially Nick. I don't need to look at you.
Yeah, let's get some graphics up, or let's
Yeah, it's different if you're showing here's how to cut a cigar, or here's how to toast, or what did we do last time? Like, here's how not to toast. And
That's
I'm
right.
bubbling all the tar up.
Yeah.
Those are great videos.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll talk off air about that. So here's the deal.
I got one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Follow Fatboy Cigars on Instagram. Awesome page, awesome group, awesome folks, awesome cigars.
Yes, indeed.
Fatboy Cigars. Welcome to the Fatboys world. Thin Red Line. We're smoking right now. Just a beautiful Nicaraguan puro.
Yes, so this cigar is a Nicaraguan puro, and it has a Maduro Nicaraguan wrapper. So, Nicaraguan tobacco runs a gamut. Like, it's a large country with some very distinct biomes. What, 4 that I can think of?
Yeah.
And so there's a range, but it is known for strong tobacco. And I think part of that is, when we did the Dominican episode, the tobacco growing region there is more compact. There's not a lot of diversity. The microbiomes are much more similar.
And even square footage of DR is smaller than Nicaragua. But yeah, Nicaragua's we have beaten the dead horse in terms of like how valuable Nicaragua is to the industry.
Yeah.
And yet still Dominican Republic, Honduras, Ecuador, etc. But Nicaragua obviously is the most diverse in terms of output.
Yeah. Wrapper, binder, filler, you can get it all there.
Yep.
Get high quality stuff. So here's the deal on social medias. Get on Instagram, follow us, drop a comment on one of our posts saying Gold Bar Lighter. And the first 3 that comment that can purchase a Gold Bar Lighter. We'll figure out how to get payment later. They're not cheap, $49.99, but you will be one of 4 people in the world to own a Johnny Midas soft flame butane torch that is the literal size, shape, weight, texture of a genuine 10-ounce Gold Bar or bullion, whatever they call it.
Butane soft flame too.
Yes.
Best part.
Yes. Soft flame butane lighter.
Yeah.
And it's just
practical.
Cool. Yeah. We'll throw some pictures on the Insta. So
that is
it's so Johnny Midas.
That's awesome.
It literally every part of it is exactly what a gold ingot looks like. Now, I thought about getting Johnny Midas on there. Instead, I just went with Credit Suisse. Mostly because we could find the logo.
Yeah.
I thought about doing Fort Knox or whatever, but I couldn't find any graphics on what they stamp their bars with. If they do, I don't know. They might not.
Yeah, that is it feels weighted, right? It feels like the weight of, that is a.
It's a pretty cool.
It's a sweet piece of hardware there, man.
Yeah, it is. All right, so that's socials for you, and we're, half an inch, 3/8 of an inch, about 11 millimeters into this Thin Red Line from Fatboy Cigars. And now that we're into the binder and filler, what are your thoughts on flavor, Nick?
Medium bodied for sure. Medium bodied, medium strength. Strength is hard to judge this early on. But really, I'm saying smooth flavor, the most overword used in the industry.
Yeah.
Overword used.
Yeah, it is very smooth though.
It is. It's not bitey. It's not punchy.
Yeah.
It's not fiery. It's very polished.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I like that a lot. The bolder flavors, if you will, are very well rounded. They are not.
They don't have sharp edges.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if I took a cedar plank and then I took a pinch of cayenne pepper and kind of like rubbed it all over the plank, kind of getting a real light and thin, almost like an afterthought or an after hint. Mm-hmm. And then I took some dark chocolate, not cocoa, not cocoa powder, but not milk chocolate, but like dark chocolate.
Yep.
And kind of ran that like a fondue fountain and ran that board under that fondue fountain.
Yeah.
Right. And then I walked through a freshly tilled garden. That's what this cigar tastes like.
I put like one espresso bean in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Somewhere in there.
So a freshly tilled coffee field.
Yeah. I mean, this is awesome. Really good. Just hits on those kind of like earth woods flavors, hits on the bitter.
And it has a sweet component to it as well.
It does.
Really balances it out.
But it's not like crazy sweet.
Mm-hmm. You know what it reminds me of is like, you know how like a dried plum, like a prune, how it has sweet, but it's not like sweet. Mm-hmm. It really reminds me of like a prune.
Yeah, 100%. It's wonderful. What a treat. Really good for early morning too.
Oh yeah. So and then the smoke output is really good. The back pressure is a little light for me, which makes sense because it's a 56 ring gauge.
Yep.
I kind of like a stiffer back pressure, but the pressure is good. The smoke output is good. This is it's not a smoke bomb. It's not filling up this room with smoke, but it's a good mouthful of smoke.
Really good.
And it has an interesting texture on the smoke. Like I would describe it like velvet, like slightly fuzzy. You ever have one of those trays? Like I have one at home, and when you come home, you put your jewelry and your coins.
It's
and
like
stuff
felt.
in it. Yeah, and it has like that.
Yeah.
They call it flocking.
100%.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's like it's a little warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like soft and coating. Yeah, absolutely. All really good qualities on this cigar for $8.
Dude, yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to the price part of our
oh man,
ranking. I mean,
dear God,
I was just thinking on the drive over, what cigars are there in the humidor that are $8 and under? So the first thing I did was I threw away the cheap cigars in that category. So there are cigars that are designed to be $3.99, something like that.
Yeah.
And they can't come close to competing on like the flavor and construction of this cigar. So, they're intentionally sold to be what they are.
Yep.
Right. The Havana Qs of the world. So
Yep.
I'm just setting those aside. Nothing wrong with them, but not really part of this comparo.
Yep.
So I started thinking through, and so you've got like the Cane Daytona.
Nice. Which was
Good
phenomenal.
cigar. Yeah, we smoked that one.
Yeah.
But it's half the tobacco. It's like the same price, but it's like half the tobacco.
Yes.
You have the Blanco Primos Estate Selection, right in there at $9. Great cigar.
Yep.
Also half the tobacco.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I don't know. What are you thinking? $8?
Project 40. Alec Bradley.
Yeah, the Alec Bradley Project 40.
Are you a fan of that one?
Not really.
I don't have a whole lot of exposure to it.
So, I don't think there's any Alec Bradley cigars that I like right out of the shop.
Yeah.
There's a few that I've really enjoyed after I let them age. The Magic Toast.
Magic Toast, yeah, wonderful.
Wasn't, like a huge fan of it, just smoking it off the shelf, but I got two, and I put one in my humidor and forgot about it.
Nice.
And like 3 months later,
Nice.
it could be me. It could have been setting and palate and stuff like that, but it tasted like a different cigar.
Yep. Partagas Oscuro.
Partagas Oscuro. Yeah.
The the classic 1845 line.
You got the Diesel Whiskey Row.
Yep.
Sub $8.
Yep.
Or Diesel Unholy Cocktail, I should say.
Yeah, that
I'm
one's
not
good.
sure. I think the Whiskey Row ones are a little higher.
Yeah. I think the Rabbit Hole one that we had brought it up.
That one's definitely higher.
A hair, yeah. Get it? Rabbit Hole, hair. Brought it up a hair.
Oh my God.
I'm visually going through.
There's some Carreras, right, that are in that $9 range.
Yeah, for sure. Francisco's like second gen is right there.
Oh yeah. The DBL second gen. That's a good cigar.
Yeah,
it's about this size.
Yeah,
a little smaller.
Yep.
Much milder, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
So not too much competition.
La Aroma de Cuba.
La Aroma de Cuba. Yeah. I was trying to think. Most of theirs are small ring gauge, though, aren't they? They have like the El Jefe.
El Jefe is the big bastard.
Yeah.
And
Which
that's yeah, it's 6x58 or something like massive.
Yeah. So let's talk about presentation on this cigar. So it does not come in a box. Does come in a cellophane sleeve, which I appreciate. And I was just looking at it under the light. You can see there's a little yellow on there. So, it's not a bunch, but it's enough to know that this is has been aged in the cello.
Definitely.
And then it's got this black twine with this really cool tag.
Yeah.
Right. So the only branding on the cigar is this tag, and it's a black tag with a thin red line down the middle.
Yeah.
It says Fatboy Cigars, Boots on the Ground Series, thin red line on one side, and the other side is just black with the thin red line down right down the middle. Slick branding, man.
Yep.
I really like this.
Very simple, but it's a statement.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's elegant.
Yep.
It gets the job done without
subtle.
Yeah, any fluff or extra.
Yep.
And it kind of fits the theme. Like, this seems like, something a firefighter would pick up. This isn't trying to be like a Marquis d'Acide cigar or something like that.
Yeah. And I honestly, I like not having the band on the cellophane. I mean, on the cigar itself.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about fucking up the wrapper.
There are absolutely benefits to that.
What's super cool is if you look at the tag, the backside, there's nothing on it. You can put a price tag there.
You could.
So for cigar retailers that use either a barcode sticker or a price tag sticker,
100%.
There's a place to put it that doesn't ruin the look of the cigar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm super picky and have weird opinions about stuff, but I hate buying a cigar with a price tag on it. Right. I don't want to look at it, and I damn sure don't want to gift somebody something with a price tag. So all the cigars in my humidor, if I bought them with a price tag on them, I take it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
First thing I do.
You know what? Also, that I was just thinking about when you mentioned that is, you can write something on here.
Oh yeah, get one of those like silver ink Sharpies.
Silver Sharpie. Yep.
Totally.
And
that
you could write a note if you're giving it as a gift. I hope you enjoy this. Thank you for your service to a firefighter friend of yours.
Right.
Or Christmas is around the corner, right? Like, this is a stocking stuffer.
Totally.
You could just write like,
love you, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's really cool, I think. And then you kind of have a like more or less a memento you can kind of keep. If you enjoyed the cigar, the moment was special to you.
Yep.
You can keep this and kind of, yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, you could literally laminate it and make a keychain out of it.
Yeah.
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 There's a lot you could do with it.
Yep.
And also, for fat boys to consider, you know what else you could put on the back?
What's that?
A QR code.
Oh.
You just in that corner. It doesn't have to be big.
You're absolutely right.
QR code goes straight to the website.
Yeah.
You could even have a special QR code where, like, it takes you to a special page. Like, this is the repurchasers page. You get 5% off.
Yeah. Or even a link to the Fallen Firefighters
Absolutely.
Fund. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. They left the door open on a lot of cool stuff they could do. Which is not to say that they missed anything, but they set themselves up. They set themselves up for success.
Yeah, we can help them fucking knock a grand slam out of this.
They're doing some really awesome things
right here in Pennsylvania, and we're thrilled to work with a family-owned company that's in the space that we love, that's producing good cigars. It's like, this is a cigar podcast.
Arguably the most
smokers.
Yeah, arguably the most important aspect of it
is the cigar.
Yeah,
and I've got friends all over, and I think I've said on the podcast, I've got cigar shops and cigar owners all over the country. Made a lot of friends in the retail side of the industry, and have met a lot of folks that want to do cigars. And I would say that the biggest problem most of them face is actually making money.
Yeah.
But the second one is the cigar.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many I've tried that are just not good.
Yeah.
Oh, Ed, what's that guy's name? The fucking weirdo that puts like the art bands on his cigar. What, is it Ed, maybe? Something? You know who I'm talking about?
Is this like a CI name?
No, but he's like boutique, and gosh, I mean, you want to talk about just terrible cigars.
I know there's
like you couldn't give them away.
Edgar Hoyle.
No.
Lars Tetens.
Lars Tetens, that's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Lars Tetens. Yeah. So, and I'm not trashing anybody's passion project, but I kind of am. Like, just bad cigars. And it's like, you can have everything else right, and you can have the branding and the artwork, and but if it's a bad cigar, it's a bad cigar.
That's the thing, man. Is like nobody cares if your box looks like a piece that should be in the MoMA.
Right.
Nobody cares
if the cigar sucks.
Yeah. If your cigar is not enjoyable, guess what? It's over. Mm-hmm. You're done.
And that's where I feel like Fatboys has just knocked it out of the park. It's like every cigar we've had from them, we're like, wow, this is a good cigar. Like it competes on its own merits.
I mean, they're absolutely quality first and flashy second.
Yeah,
absolutely. Or third or fourth or fifth. You know, they're like they're not. You know,
kind of like this area. Of the country.
Yeah.
You know, it's like substance first.
And I don't think I'm outing them by saying this, but they're based out of kind of the Pittsburgh area, in that half of Pennsylvania. But yeah, it's very like
I want to
salt of the earth.
Yeah, salt of the earth, definitely. I want to swing by in my day job. We deliver out there to 3 or 4 companies. So I'd love to swing by sometime.
Yeah.
Just see what's up.
Stop by, have a cigar with them.
Yeah.
Chat. Talk shop. That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah, so getting some good, really good flavor and smoke out of this. Really enjoyable so far. So, you know, I was at Bantam Coffee getting these Americanos, which very good, by the way, local company. And, you know, you go in and it's like, without, you know, stereotyping too much, it's like your typical liberal coffee shop, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, there's like advertisements for tarot readings on the wall, and like you got your gourmet tea lovingly hand-picked by the indigenous hardworking peoples of wherever the fuck. And, you know, it's like you can order a coffee, but, you know, like nothing is called coffee. You know, I want a black coffee. You know, they're like, okay, cool. I'll take a large Americano, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, everything's got some weird name, you know. So I walk in there, and it's like there's a cop in there, and he's talking about police politics with one of the bartenders. And then there's another guy in there, and he's wearing kind of like an Indiana Jones hat and like a suede or nubuck leather jacket, you know, with like khaki slacks and like brown nubuck hiking boots.
Okay.
And like that's so this area of the country.
Yeah.
It's like his outfit is 100% functional.
Yeah.
And then he made it look good. You know?
Yeah.
Like he's keeping his head warm, but you know, it's a good looking hat. And he matched his outfit, but he's wearing hikers because it's cold and wet, you know?
Yeah.
And this cigar reminds me of that, where it's like it fucking performs first, you know?
That's right. Yeah.
And then, but then they made it look good.
Utility first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Style second.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. It's a good. It's my motto, actually. That's when I was being created by my parents, I told them, hey, like my face, make sure it's utility first, look second.
Yeah, I want to be able to breathe and eat.
Yep.
And see.
Yep.
And hear.
Forget about how I look.
Right. And then make it look good.
Yeah. They must not have heard me, but
no fucking deviated septum and shit. I want to be able to breathe. Yeah. All right. So with that, got this cigar rolling, enjoying it. I think it is time for our tobacconist tip of the week. And now your tobacconist tip of the week with Nicholas McCann.
Yeah, this is awesome. Especially because of this cigar that we're smoking right here. I think this cigar fits into, you know, what you and I are going to talk about here. But the tobacconist tip of the week this week is just about enjoying your cigar and how to do things while enjoying your cigar. And so, it's fall. It's not scalding hot. It's not quite freezing yet. So, like, here are some ideas that we recommend you do while you take a cigar out, in your afternoon. And some of my favorite things to do are, I really like getting into YouTube rabbit hole, whether it be about cigars or about, literature or history or anything like that. Like, I really, really enjoy that, as well as like reading or writing.
Yeah.
It's super meditative.
Yeah.
Smoking the cigar and kind of like feeling in tune with your senses.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I think the idea of sort of doing nothing while smoking a cigar, I mean, nothing, like not talking to somebody, not at the lounge, but just by yourself. And it's like a meditative practice. Like, I think that's out there. It's almost a tired trope at this point. You know?
Yeah.
What can you do besides just enjoy the cigar?
Right.
And the answer is, depending on the cigar. There's some you just want to focus on the cigar. I get it. But there's a lot of other things you can do with your cigar, and I've found that it heightens the experience. So you're getting to, like, enjoy your senses while doing something else.
Right.
It can add an element of enjoyability to what you're doing, or it can just heighten that.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm with you. I like to. I'm just curious. I'm naturally curious.
Yep.
So I'm learning about nutrition right now. Just went down a rabbit hole for the last week, and I didn't know this, but all of the multivitamins you get in the store, like, your body can't use them in the current state, which is normal because everything you consume, your body has to process before it's usable. And it can actually make you sick if you have a genetic condition where you can't process them, stuff like that. So I've got like a bunch of YouTube videos queued up.
Exactly.
So I'm out there just taking notes while smoking a cigar.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
I like that. Great tip for maximizing the enjoyment of your cigar while being productive.
Yeah. And it's like, I think it's also a brain exercise where you can teach yourself how to, so like, it is an element of slowing down. Right. Being out with a cigar and a book, or a cigar and a tablet, watching videos on a specific subject. Right. That is an exercise in slowing your mind down, slowing your body down. Right. And so it's like, all right, oscillate between focusing on the cigar and focusing on the task that you're trying to complete, or the information you're trying to digest. And it's like, if you can kind of like switch from one gear to another, go back and forth, enjoy both. Like you're
it's almost like podcasting while smoking a cigar. Yeah, for sure. Look at this ash, man. So I've got some ash in the dish. What is this, about an inch?
You could probably throw that as a snowball. That's so solid.
Dude, it just picked up.
Yeah.
It is definitely well burnt. See how I kind of just squeezed it apart? There's not like giant chunks in there. Anything. There's nothing unburnt in that. Look at that.
Yeah.
So it's like so solid. I picked the whole thing up, but now I'm smashing it down with my finger, since you guys can't see on Spotify. And there is nothing in there.
It's turning to dust.
Yeah, it's pure dust. That is awesome.
Yeah, 100% combustion.
Yeah, that is a great burn, and speaks to probably the priming, as well as the curing and
that's
fermenting.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this is shout out to Fatboys again for being selective in the tobacco that they use. I mean, this is the quality of tobacco that you want to see in the cigar that you're smoking. Yeah,
definitely. So with that, let's jump into cigar supply chain. And, this ties so closely into how cigars are made. I almost thought we do need an episode on making cigars, and we've hit on it obliquely a lot of different times, but I think maybe we need one on just here's what happens. Kind of thing. So I'm going to try to not get into that, because I think that's like a whole episode in itself. But we're going to talk about the supply chain and a couple of things here, right? So the first is, you keep hearing about this. So how many times have you gone into a tobacconist, a local retailer, and heard, like, I'm having trouble getting that cigar in the last year.
Frequently.
Yeah, it's pretty frequent.
Yeah.
So I was reading on, I can't remember the trade publication, but this was a March of 2023 article, and they were saying that supply chain issues are the number one thing facing cigar sales around the world.
Really?
And it was actually quoted in The Economist, ran an article on it, and they quoted this, so I kind of went to the source here. So when you think about making cigars, you have the issues of growing, like it's a natural product. Mm-hmm. So you have weather, you have socio-political issues, labor.
Yeah.
COVID interrupted things because governments are shutting down factories. You can't work, you can't make stuff, right?
Right.
And I wonder how many organizations were going along with that 100%. Because, here in the U.S., we had, Tesla, where it's like after a week, they're like, fuck you. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do, arrest us all? Mm-hmm. I know a lot of companies that, kind of got to the point where they're like, our crops are going to die. We're not doing this, Yeah. So, that's an example, though, of something.
We're on a timetable. We can't.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a growing product. It's in the ground.
Right.
Someone has to water it and feed it.
Right.
So you have all of that stuff. But eventually... you have leaves that have been harvested, and
yes.
You have the fermenting and curing processes. Not in that order: curing first, then fermenting, and then you make cigars, right? And so, kind of, we're going to pick up the supply chain between a finished cigar and you buying it on the shelf.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, what it really looks like is you have a warehouse of cigars that a factory has made. And then from there to you, the consumer, there's a few different parts, right? So
so it's a rolling table, right? When the wrapper's applied, mm-hmm. and then they're bundled into
something.
Basically,
a lot of times, a lot of cigars are just bundled.
It's like diamond, but it's like diamond shaped mm-hmm. Bundles of 50 cigars at a time, mm-hmm. and then they're set in aging rooms.
Yeah,
right, and then. When they're aged and ready to go, they're banded.
Well, it depends on how they're being sold, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they're boxed up, banded and boxed. Sometimes they're bundled,
right.
Stuff like that.
Of course.
But basically, the end of the process for the cigar producer is a sale-ready product, mm-hmm. right? What that looks like, it can vary. So you have a warehouse with sale-ready product. So the first step is to get that from the factory to a warehouse, right? So let's say you're a local cigar retailer. Where it gets interesting for most folks is, and for some context, I'm a supply chain expert in my day job. Have most of a master's from MIT in supply chain engineering. Folks don't realize sometimes that business is just doing business, and it's not as cut and dried as everyone thinks.
Yeah.
Right? You're trying to accomplish an objective, and there are some supply chains that are very, I don't know, how would I say this, meticulous, very meticulous. Mm-hmm. Automotive supply chain is one of them.
Yeah.
And it has to be because there's requirements for tracing defects for the sake of recalls and stuff like that.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But most other supply chains, you get lettuce at Walmart. Sometimes that local Walmart store buys a truckload of lettuce from a local farmer. Mm-hmm. And that farmer grabs these heads of lettuce, throws them in a crate, throws those on a semi, and takes it to that Walmart.
Yeah.
Sometimes Walmart will have a supplier mm-hmm. in Argentina that mm-hmm. makes lettuce. Mm-hmm. And that supplier is sending scheduled truckloads to Walmart, but they're going to a warehouse
right.
that is then distributed mm-hmm. right to different stores. Well, cigars are no different. However, in general, a cigar factory will load up an ocean container of cigars. Now, again, you can have extra elements in here. For example, you can have a cigar factory that loads a semi-truck that takes a load, or even a box truck or a tuk-tuk, depending on, if it's Indonesia, depending on where the cigar factory is. And they may take that to a warehouse or a port even and load a can, right? So the pieces can get a little complicated depending on what's available and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Is it a rush to market? All of this.
Right, and then there's export import rules and qualifications and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Taxes to pay.
Yeah. So first step is to get it to an ocean can, and then it goes across the ocean. Yeah. Or, in the case of Mesoamerica, it doesn't go across an ocean; it goes up an ocean.
Right. Yeah.
And East Coast, West Coast.
Yep.
Where it goes to a port, and there is the process of import-export. Most ports are, the place where duties are paid, taxes, all of that. However, that is not always the case because you have foreign trade zones in America. So a foreign trade zone is regulated by the Department of Homeland Security and technically is not part of the United States. And you are not taxed on product that is in an FTZ. So, in theory, I ran an FTZ that was in Kentucky. That's in the middle of the U.S. And so you would have product that was being imported, and it would go to a port, and then it would fly and truck to this foreign trade zone where the warehouse was. It's never taxed. It's not officially imported until it leaves the FTZ.
What?
Yeah. Well, it's just, because in order to meet consumer demand, you have to be able to absorb variance in the supply chain, right? Well, you can't do that if the bottleneck is the port for importing, right?
Right.
Because it's a whole ship full of containers.
Yeah.
Right? And so, but you also can't necessarily afford to pay taxes on all of that and import fees and duties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're allowed to, in some cases, import stuff. It's not technically imported until it leaves your warehouse. So you can have millions of dollars of product in a foreign trade zone warehouse. Right. And then when the semi leaves, you pay taxes on just what left the foreign trade zone.
Wow.
Right. So it's like a virtual extension of your factory.
Yeah. What are there different types of items and stuff that kind of are exempt from port of entry tax and fees and stuff like that, and can go to foreign trade zones?
Well, so
you have to apply for.
Yeah, you
get approved.
A foreign trade zone is a licensed facility that's inspected for compliance. It has to meet regulations for security and safety and stuff like that. It's not easy to get. A lot of companies have at least one person or executive in the company that's an FTZ expert.
Yeah.
To manage all of them. And for the most part, it's not cost effective.
Yeah.
Automotive supply chain, very cost effective. Automotive parts are expensive as hell.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to respond at a moment's notice to a factory's needs, or you get penalized in the tens of millions of dollars.
Jeez.
Probably, my guess is cigars are not using foreign trade zones, but it's a possibility. So then after it arrives, now you have an ocean can. It's safely offloaded onto U.S. soil, and it has to go somewhere. Now, you have an ocean can from the Oliva factory.
Yep.
It's not going to your local tobacconist.
Right. It's going to go to Oliva warehouse or Oliva headquarters.
Well, it could.
Yeah.
It could absolutely go, and usually does go to a warehouse owned by the producer stateside. But it doesn't have to. It can also go to any third-party logistics company that, technically owns the warehouse, that works in service of the company.
Right.
It could go to a wholesaler.
We get this vertical integration.
Yeah. So
This is part of vertical integration, right?
yeah, absolutely. Which is, not wise to do for most companies in the supply chain, because it's very hard to be good at supply chain and making product, right? So unless you have some really strict requirements, like food and drug, especially drugs, a lot of that is, they'll still use third-party logistics, but it's basically vertically integrated because the requirements are so strict, right? So highly regulated products, that sort of thing. Could go to a wholesaler warehouse as well. Now, you think of Habanos SA, which, manages like Cuba's export production. They have a partner in Geneva where they basically export all of the cigars going to Europe.
Yeah.
Right? Single point of contact helps to dramatically reduce copyright infringement, counterfeits, stuff like that.
Yeah. You call it chain of custody.
Chain of custody.
Yeah. Keeps it real easy.
Right.
Yeah. Did this go to the one place it was supposed to go?
Right.
Yes. Okay. Then it's probably real.
Right. So that company is their partner. They have the warehouse and everything. Right. So then from that warehouse, if it's a wholesaler, then they're just selling business to business out of that warehouse, right? And they may sell to a local tobacconist or cigar shop. If it is a company warehouse, they will fill orders out of that warehouse, and they can fill to wholesalers as well as to stores. And a lot of companies are now doing direct internet sales, where they'll pull that cigar right out of their warehouse,
right,
and ship it to you.
Yeah. Now, so let's say Oliva sells to Thompson, right?
Okay.
Thompson Cigar, major online player.
Yep.
Oliva will produce. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Oliva will send an entire order for Thompson, and just say, "Yep, everything in this thing goes to Thompson."
They can.
Right, and then there's "Yep, and then the next order, the next batch that's coming in are going to be distributed to the retailers that we owe these cigars to.
I mean, in theory, an Ocean can could go straight to Thompson. I don't know what their receiving capabilities are.
Right.
Or it could go to Oliva's warehouse, and then they could load up a semi or a box truck. I mean, you could fit a lot of cigars on a box truck. A lot of cigars. Even for a company the size of Thompson, you don't necessarily need a semi. Right. So LTL shipping is very common in the space.
Okay.
And then to the store is typically UPS. And the main reason for that is economics. UPS just ships this stuff at the best price.
And Postal Service kind of doesn't let you ship tobacco.
And correct. And FedEx is expensive.
Are they?
I don't know if DHL is still in the game. I think they sold out, or at least part. But you have LTL carriers as well. Most cigar shops cannot accept an LTL. Right.
What's that?
So an LTL stands for less than truckload. So you'll have a semi with multiple stops on it. And it'll go around, and I'm dropping off at this place first, and then that place, and then that place. Very cost effective because multiple customers are sharing the cost of a semi, but you're only paying for one driver and fuel and truck and all of that, right? So LTL is very effective. Typically does not apply to a cigar shop because they just don't have space for a semi, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much limited to UPS.
Right. Yeah, UPS is pretty dominant.
Everywhere I've gone.
Yeah.
Every single cigar shop I've visited, when they're unloading, it's the UPS guy.
Yeah.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So they kind of have that market cornered.
Yeah.
So that's the supply chain. So where does it break down?
Yeah.
Right. And the answer is everywhere. Right. So you remember UPS was on strike a while ago?
Absolutely.
For contract negotiations.
Teamster.
Yeah. Hey, guess who's delivering your cigars? But not right now.
Right.
Yeah. So then as a business, as a shipper, right? So this is on the warehouse that's shipping to the local cigar shop. You have to figure out what's the alternative. And there's a lot of alternatives. They're just not cost effective.
I have one interjection.
Yeah.
When we were getting notifications from cigar companies about the UPS strike that said, "Hey, heads up. We know you guys know this is going on. This is undoubtedly going to affect delivery times."
Yeah, absolutely.
Strap up, be prepared, buckle up. Anyway, yes. because I mean the cigar companies realized this is the epicenter of distribution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, and then you also have what we call soft constraints, right? So cost of labor and fuel, basically the cost to ship. So in the past, you might have a cigar shop that's like, I'm going to order a box of this. Mm-hmm. And now they're like, well, it's not cost effective. I need to wait until I need 6 boxes.
Right.
And typically your cigar distributors have tiered pricing models that's directly related to what UPS is charging. Mm-hmm. And they know if I send you 1 box, it's the same cost as sending you 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If I bundle 3 boxes together, the weight and dims, change the pricing by $2. So it goes from $20 to $22, which is now, $7.33 per box.
Yeah.
Whereas 1 box, it's $20 per box to ship, right?
Yeah.
So those are soft constraints that absolutely affect the availability of cigars.
And cigar companies do usually two methods for charging customer shipping, and it's flat rate versus percentage. And the best ones did percentage of goods sold.
Yep.
So they would 3%, 5% of your order total. They would charge you, which was the most fair because you could do that 1 box and it wouldn't put you out.
Right.
The flat rate guys were the guys that you wanted to maximize your order with. Right, you didn't want to just order 1 box because you were getting charged $40 no matter what. Yep. Right. So yeah,
and a lot of the suppliers can kind of move over to a percentage basis by having purchasing requirements for stores. So a lot of cigar companies have purchasing requirements or facing requirements, and so they already they can calculate. Well, if this customer is buying this much, I can charge this percentage, and I'm not losing money, on shipping. Now, on the other side of that, you have from the port to the warehouse. Again, any kind of driver shortage affects that. The port times are ridiculous.
But those are
gotten better.
Those are semis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really do a box truck.
Correct. It's actually a chassis frame holding an ocean can.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So the ocean can goes onto a frame that hooks up to a semi.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you'll see them around from time to time. Not so much in this area, but as you get closer to Baltimore, Port of Baltimore. And, so I get imports at my day job.
So they don't at the shipping port of entry, they don't unload the contents into a new container. They just move the container.
In fact, I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Really?
Unload at the port, yeah.
Wow.
Because, if you think about it.
It slows things down.
If shenanigans are going to happen, it's there.
Yeah.
Right? You have to take your can and go. The seal has to be intact when you leave the yard. Right? And that's to prevent.
That's so interesting.
Crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So, the Port of Baltimore is better now. During COVID, the wait times were like 12 hours.
Yeah.
So you show up as a driver, grab your chassis. So the chassis is returned to the port. They go in a circle. You don't own the chassis. You're just a cab.
Yep.
You pull in. So you got to go to the chassis yard and grab a chassis, and then you go wait for your can. And that whole process, 10 or 12 hours. And we would have drivers that were like,
jeez,
I'm getting your can today, and I'm dropping it tomorrow morning. So they would leave the yard and pull over because they were out of DOT hours.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, so that can affect, lead times.
Yeah.
Not availability per se, but these things all affect each other, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, to get the sticks stateside, you have to buy passage, and the price of an ocean can, 5 years ago was $6,000 maybe, maybe $3,000 if you're coming from Dominican.
To rent one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During COVID, they got up to like $20,000, which affects pricing and also like the desire of people to pay for these cigars.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can't amortize. The difference between $5,000 and $20,000 amortized over all the cigars in that can is huge.
Yeah.
And this is one reason why cigar prices are up as well.
So is there a UPS of shipping containers? Is there a company that is like...
Yeah, the dominant company is Maersk.
MERSK?
MAE, I think, or MEA.
Okay, yeah, something
RSK.
like that.
Yeah, you've seen it. They're a Danish shipping company. I call them the Walmart of the sea.
Okay.
Because they're so large. In fact, they're so large that they recently won 100% of Walmart's import business.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they're huge, but there's a lot of shipping companies out there.
Yeah.
And they're all competing on price and service.
Yeah.
Right. So, and Maersk won that contract because they have the assets to be 100% reliable.
Yeah.
And now Walmart can hold one partner accountable.
Price, service, and infrastructure.
Yeah.
Can you handle? You can, because not everyone can handle a Walmart contract.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You just don't have the assets.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
move this much product.
Yeah. We would love to do it. It's just going to take us 15 years to do one shipment.
Yeah. 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 They just run out. So Maersk owns ships as well as cans. You know, and a lot of probably most of the cigar companies are working with a can company separate from a shipping company. Multiple shipping companies, but yeah, that's all part of the.
But these guys aren't
chain
like these guys aren't like pulling up to the dock and like refueling their boats at like a Shell station.
Well, they do have refueling stations at the dock, yeah.
But I would imagine like a company of that size would have like a commercial contract with a fuel company.
Yeah, they do, and they also play the market on fuel futures.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for a typical diesel ocean-going vessel, the price to fill up is around $2 million to fill your tanks with diesel.
That's insane.
Yeah.
How long is a tank gonna last?
I have no idea. I don't know. It's a lot of gallons, though, if you do the math. You know.
But it's not okay. Wow.
And yeah, they get commercial fuel contracts. Like they get a bulk discount, kind of.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But not that much.
And that way, I feel like availability too. Like you wouldn't run the risk of like if you can finagle a contract. If you're a shipping company that owns ships and containers, if you can finagle a contract with an oil supplier, right? That way you can guarantee yourself a constant supply.
Yeah, it's less of a guarantee than I think most people would like, though. You know, the fuel suppliers, like, they can't always guarantee the availability of fuel.
Of course. I mean, it's another supply chain.
Yeah, it's another supply chain. Absolutely right.
One supply chain is relying on another supply chain that's relying on another supply chain.
So that's what the big picture looks like. And by the way, if you want a lucrative career, go into supply chain. Like this is a good job. They're 6-figure jobs and very, very valuable because they determine us being able to get the consumables that we need.
Right. It's not what needs to move from point A to B. It is that things need to move from point A to B, and there will always be logistics concerned with that. Let's talk about the Suez Canal.
Suez Canal.
Remember when that ship went sideways?
Oh no, that was the other. That was the one in. Was it the Suez Canal?
I think it was in across the pond, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
that's the one between Egypt and Arabia or whatever.
I think so.
The Evergreen or Evergrande or whatever.
Went
what a
completely sideways. It got stuck.
Let's just say somebody's looking for a new job.
Still,
if there's one thing you can't do as a ship's captain, it's run aground in a fucking canal.
Like and the canal was like the width of the ship.
Yeah.
It's like they block this is like if like a 16-wheeler like blocked a 2-lane highway.
Right. It's completely jacked.
Yeah. You can't go around it. That was crazy.
Supply chain issues. No one can go through the canal.
Right.
So do we sail around fucking Africa?
Yeah.
And had 2 months journey.
Right. That is. I mean, that was unbelievable. Like I remember there like Google Earth photos, live Google Earth photos. It just showed like this ship just sitting sideways in the waterway.
And since they ran aground in Egypt, they all got taken to prison and beaten. So, no, but seriously, like, they got in trouble.
Yeah. Man. And how do you get fighter jets hooked up to the boat to ride it?
No, it's like 4 C-130s. They drop grappling hooks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got squad guys on the decks like hooking stuff up to the.
Did you see there's a picture of, I think it was Photoshop, but it was like some guy in a bobcat like trying to dig this ship out. This is like. Yeah.
Put a couple wood planks on the tires. Hopefully, get some traction.
Right, yeah, it's like digging a grave with a teaspoon.
Yeah. What a mess, man.
All right, let's touch back on this cigar. So burning very well. I mean, you can see my burn line right here. We've got a couple of ashes in here, and the ash is we covered the ash already, but it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely a mid-bodied cigar.
Yeah.
It's sort of on the sweet and savory side.
100%.
I think your experienced cigar folks could definitely have this as a breakfast cigar.
Yep.
Not everybody, but your seasoned smoker.
Yep.
And definitely that cedar is still there.
Yeah.
Like sometimes that burns off in the first inch or so.
Mm-hmm.
That's still there for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I'm actually excited to talk about use case with this one too when we get there, because this is one that's going to be very malleable and very flexible as far as use case goes.
What's interesting is I'm getting a little bit of like a charred meat flavor in there too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Charcoal brisket type. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like that, the seared edge, the burnt edge. Yep. 100%.
Burnt tips.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with frosted tips.
Not frosted tips.
I want to see you rock the Justin Timberlake early 2000 frosted tips.
I'm kind of getting there naturally.
Yeah. They're snow tips.
Yeah.
Silver tips.
Mine are wisdom tips.
Wisdom tips.
All right, with that, let's take a break, ladies and gentlemen. We will come back and rank this cigar. Don't go away. Keep your dial locked in to Birdline Podcast. Hi, everybody. Johnny Midas here with my midweek smoke. I am smoking the Spanish Galleon Maduro Toro. This 6x54 cigar is medium in strength with a Brazilian Matafina wrapper, Dominican Habano binder, and Dominican and Nicaraguan filler tobaccos. It presents with a Colorado Maduro color and is blended by Maurice Cokes. This cigar is hand-rolled in the Dominican Republic and will set you back about $3.50. It's mild enough for a breakfast cigar and rich enough to be worth more than $3.50. Give it a try, the Spanish Galleon Maduro. And we are back. I'm just here fondling my 10-ounce gold ingot. Fucking sweet.
It is.
And, Nick, you got some news of the week for us.
Some news of the week for us. Some news of the past couple weeks, realistically speaking.
Cigar News. Here is your host, Nicholas McCann. Cigar News, brought to you by a giant cupful of awesomeness.
Avo Seasons Limited Edition Winter 2023 went on sale early November.
Mm-hmm.
Tatuaje released an NFT, which I didn't know was still a thing. NFT.
Yeah, I thought NFTs were dead.
Yeah. They had their 2 months of fame.
But we were talking about collectible cigars, like the Avo Seasons came up, I think, right?
Yep.
Like that's a
absolutely.
And Avo makes good cigars, so
absolutely.
This is one like buy two, put one in the collection, smoke one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trinidad Espiritu number 3.
Yeah. So what changed on the number? I know from the number 1 to the number 2, I feel like it got less harsh.
Yeah. As far as I can only tell you details, right? And I believe that they are using a San Andres Maduro.
Oh, interesting.
Mexican wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler.
Yeah. So it's still Nicaraguan in the middle.
Yep.
So it's still going to be strong.
But San Andres in the wrapper.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah. No kidding. AJ makes it again for him.
Yeah.
So it's going to be,
Yeah.
CRA Freedom Sampler, which CRA Cigar Reds of America.
Yep.
Really good advocacy group for, making sure that your local,
you still get to smoke.
Your local government's not going to ban you from smoking. Period. So that's the CRA sampler. A select handful of companies make. I mean, it's Oliva, LFD, Diamond Crown, Opus, My Father, Tatuaje, Ashton, Fuente, Padron, and Rocky. Make a cigar that come in this pack. That's 8 or 10 or however many that is, and then obviously some of the proceeds go to the CRA fund, right?
Right.
To kind of lobby for cigar rights. Casa Magna Colorado Lancero returns in new size, which is such an interesting headline, I think. Casa Magna, Colorado. Like, if it just said Casa Magna, Colorado returns in new size, cool. Casa Magna, Colorado Lancero returns in new size.
So is it not a Lancero?
Right.
I mean,
the tagline is the Casa Magna, Colorado Lancero is back, sort of. So that's pretty interesting.
Because the Lancero wasn't selling, so they're like, we're turning it into a Corona.
Yeah, cut some ends off. Silver Mesa Brulee Wagashi, which is the Cigar Dojo collab. I think it's gonna be a box press.
Dude, we have to smoke that. Can we get our hands on one?
I put a deposit down in May for a box.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they should be coming.
We have to smoke. I mean, the Sober Mesa
soon.
is like top 5 cigar for me.
100%. So yeah, as soon as they come in, I'll let you know. I'll check on the status of them later today. Wrapping up some news here as the page loads.
Pop-up ads.
Yeah, right.
God damn it.
I need to reinstall.
Dude, there are, so, I've got a news feed on my phone. So, like, Apple News, which I don't use because it's just the most giant spam ever with all these News Plus articles and shit. So I have Google News on my phone and then a couple of, like, intentionally, like, our algorithm doesn't work news sites where it's like, we're going to force you to read shit you wouldn't normally read.
Yeah.
But there are some, like, because it aggregates from all over the internet, like, there's some where, like, I actually click the little, like, the 3 dots and put, like, don't show any more from this feed because there's, like, you click on the news article and you can't fucking read it because there's so many pop-up ads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you know how the modern internet works?
Or like the news sources online now that like they'll give you the first 2 paragraphs of the article and it's like continue reading with a subscription of $9.99 monthly.
Yeah. Like, I just block it, and the thing is, like, it's like these companies don't know how the internet works anymore.
Yeah,
it's like
a couple more. Oliva Advent Calendar returns for 2023. This is always a Christmas treat.
Oh yeah. Now is it 24 cigars or is it like one per week?
It 25. Yep. 25 and a lighter.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that's gonna be expensive.
$230. MSRP.
That's not bad.
5,000 boxes made.
Dude, that's like so that's like $8 a stick with a free lighter.
25 cigars and a lighter, $230. Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And it kind of comes in like a book looking.
Yeah, that's cool as shit.
Which is always obviously like a Christmas time kind of.
Speaking of days until Christmas, did you know that if you start watching Harry Potter today and watch one movie every Sunday, that will take you to Christmas?
Really?
Yeah. Which Christmas is a Sunday this year, right?
Is it?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Wow. Double whammy. That stinks. Because you can't, we always like Christmas to be on a work week day.
Well, I'm getting Thursday, Friday, and Monday off.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We have a really good company. They take care of us for sure.
That's lovely, man.
Having Christmas Mass on Christmas sucks, though.
Yes. Yeah. STG, Scandinavian.
Watch out with lightning bolts.
Scandinavian Tobacco Group, Q3 2023, revenues dropped by 3.9%.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, I was looking at some of the financials, and what was interesting was during COVID, sales went up a lot, I think, because people were at home, and you had the rise of the young people grabbing a stick to smoke at home, working from home. All of that went away. So a lot of what we're seeing in the reduction in revenue and stuff is really a correct market correction.
It's just normal regression.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not that. Correction is exactly the term.
It is a market correction, and we should see prices and stocks and everything return to normal. It's just there is a new normal, which is more expensive.
Plasencia shipped Coseca 151, so they had 146, 149 was the most recent one. Now 151's coming out.
Smoked the 149 yesterday.
Awesome cigar.
Obviously,
Coseca 1 and whatever is indicative of the harvest number, the crop number.
Yeah.
So this is like the 151st iteration of Plasencia crops.
I was smoking 149 talking to a young man who's a mutual friend about wealth and how it is impossible for anybody in America to not retire wealthy if they have the mindset and know how money works. And I was just going through some of the basics with him, watching the pupils dilate and, the light bulb moment come on. And I was like, one of the things that separates like people that get wealthy from people that don't is they know the value of things and how to enjoy and experience life without consuming. But you're bombarded with like advertisements that are trying to convince you can't have a good life without consuming their stuff, right?
Yeah.
And a wealthy guy can enjoy a Mark Twain cigar. Mm-hmm. And I'm having this convo while smoking a 149. Mm-hmm. So, which is like a $16 cigar or whatever. I'm like, well, damn it, I can afford it and I budgeted for it. So leave me alone. Get off my back.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That does it for the news drop.
Well, Nick, thank you for that cigar news of the week. Good stuff going on in the cigar world. And why don't we just touch on this cigar one last time and we'll go ahead and rank it. So I do have a slightly different addition, not a change in the flavor profile, but an addition.
Oh?
So I want you to imagine that you take a piece of Italian bread, like you tear off a 2-inch chunk of Italian bread, mm-hmm. and then you put it under your broiler until like the top, which is kind of like not flat, mm-hmm. the parts that are sticking up get black, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And then you put like ground hamburger meat on it that has been, like kneaded with salt and pepper, mm-hmm. and you cook that onto that. That's the flavor addition that I'm getting. So it's like a toasted white bread and hamburger,
nice
kind of flavor.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, by the way, a wonderful flavor. Mm-hmm. Really good.
So, overall smoking this down, smoke output has been good. The burn has been great. The ash is good. And the flavor it's just interesting because it's mid-bodied, it's complex, and it kind of went from like earthy, leathery cedar with a little touch of like espresso bean and sweet.
Yeah.
And then it sort of developed this like charred meat and sugar taste as we got farther down.
Yep.
All of the flavors have like round corners. Mm-hmm. They play well together. Nothing really jumps out at you or sticks out. And it's sort of smooth and mild enough to enjoy in a lot of different settings. So I think home run. Really enjoyed this cigar.
Heck yeah.
Shout out to Fatboy Cigars.
Heck yeah.
Thin Red Line by Fatboy Cigars. This is a 6.5 by 56 Maduro. Retails for $8 on the Fatboy Cigars website. Currently sold out, by the way.
No surprise there.
No surprise. Nicaraguan Puro with a Nicaraguan Maduro wrapper. And it's time to rank this. So let's start with presentation. Nick, what do you got for presentation?
Oh, man. So simple. But kind of hit the marks. I give this an 8.
8 on presentation from Nick?
Heck yeah, man. I can't fault it for a whole lot. And it doesn't really leave me wanting much more. And this is also like this tag thing that we described earlier is not something that we see frequently.
Yeah, it definitely stands out.
Ezra Zion is the only company that I kind of know that does it on a regular basis.
Yep.
But it's definitely unique.
Awesome. I had an 8 as well for presentation. Great presentation. I'd like to see on the tag, I would like to see a QR code on there. Mm-hmm. I think a link to a page, you could just link it to the Thin Red Line page. You can, at fatboycigars.com, you can purchase the cigar and read about the Fallen Firefighters Foundation and, the cigar. And how about price at $8?
Well, you know what they should do now?
What's that?
They should put a QR code to the link to this episode.
Hell yeah. Yeah. That's what I meant to say.
Price $8. Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. And I was thinking, I don't know what category this is going to fall into, but this cigar did not irritate me like most 56 gauge. Is it 56?
Yeah. No, you're right.
56 gauge cigars irritate me.
Yeah.
Just like don't ask me why. I don't know. But this did
both
not.
Both of us are small ring gauge guys.
This was like not like it didn't feel like I was smoking just a fat cigar. So, price at $8 $8 price, $8, 8 score.
That's exactly what I had.
Yeah.
You get an 8 because it costs $8.
Yeah, there you go.
And you would have gotten a 10 if it was priced at 10. Seriously, I took 2 points off because I think it's underpriced. This can easily now. I would probably do like $9.99 or something. Keep it in the single digits or something.
Yeah,
but this easily competes. It could compete at higher than $10, and I feel like $8 as a price point in the consumer's mind puts it at a lower tier than what you're actually getting.
Right.
I think there's a sweet spot. So, for folks that are listening, friendly neighborhood MBA here, when you're talking about maximizing profit, there's price elasticity and demand elasticity, and they cross over depending on price point. So you're always trying to calculate where's the price point, for what I'm selling. And I feel like they're leaving some dollars on the table.
Where's the price point relative to demand?
Right.
Right.
And to the rest of the market.
Yeah.
For example, if you sold Coca-Cola for $1, everyone would buy it because it's Coke.
Yeah.
Okay, now imagine that you're a competing brand, RC Cola. You have the exact same, 16-ounce bottle next to the Coke. The Coke is selling for $2.25. You sell your RC for $1.
You can't do that.
Can't do that.
No.
I mean, some people will pick it up,
Yeah.
but most consumers will look at that and say inferior.
Yeah.
Right? They're not assuming that Coke is greedily grabbing an extra $1.25 per unit, which they might be, right? But that's not the consumer's assumption. Right?
And I think, to be clear, we do not fault Fatboy Cigars at all for charging this price. This is kind of just like a simple, objective, like, shout out to Fatboys for
Making
selling
it
the cigar.
affordable.
Yeah, for selling the cigar at an affordable price. Like, that's phenomenal. Like, obviously, really good quality people that are not in it for the money.
Yeah, they're not gouging folks.
Yeah, they want to do good things for good people.
But leaving some money on the table, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So, and while we're on the subject with the affordability of, and it's a lot of tobacco for the price too, but this is one of those, like, nobody's going to balk about going to fatboycigars.com and picking up a 5-pack because it's really good tobacco, really good smoke, and it's really affordable.
Yep.
All right, so let's move on to construction. Nick, what have you got there?
The construction was brilliant. I loved the closed foot. I liked the shortened pigtail.
Cool little flourish.
Yeah. It cut well, like no pieces.
Thing is, this looks like a premium cigar. It just does. Like, with that little flat pigtail and the closed foot, and this, kind of gorgeous Maduro wrapper.
Yeah. 8.
8 for construction.
Yeah, I mean, it burned super well.
It did
as well.
Yeah, I had an 8 for construction as well. Probably would have given it a 9. You can see I do have a small flake of wrapper leaf missing there.
Yeah, what happened?
It just came like that.
Okay.
Now that's very close to the part I'm putting in my mouth, so I haven't even got to it yet. Also, no smoke is leaking out, and I wasn't pulling any air in, which means that the binder is still intact. All right, so something.
Just a fleck of wrapper kind of fell off.
Yes. Yeah. If it had gone through the binder, my score would have been lower. So 8 on construction. Yes, it burned well, and we looked at the ash and handled that. Clearly the tobacco has been properly aged. So good construction there. And let's talk about flavor. Flavor's interesting.
Super interesting. Definitely one with transitions, as you noted. And I think that's not super common. Like, we get a lot of monotone.
We have gotten a few on the podcast.
Cigar flavors where it's just like straight through 6.5 inches of the same flavor. And so for this one to change,
7.5 if it's the El Septimo Botticelli.
3.5 straight
Fucking
hours.
9 years of smoking. Smells like vegetable bitter.
Check back in an hour and
Same.
Yeah. But yeah, this one, I mean, the changes were good right off the foot with the wrapper, just the wrapper leaf taste. It was, fantastic. There was no one dominating flavor, which is awesome. It was just sort of a melody of kind of a few different really good flavors.
Medley, not melody.
Medley
Medley of flavors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Melody is like part of a song. I mean, I guess metaphorically speaking, you could say melody, but I think you meant medley.
Kind of. I was thinking about a chorus.
No, the chorus and the melody are not the same.
No, I was thinking about a chorus.
But you said
a choir. Fuck. Jesus.
Not gonna let this go. Here, stick your finger in this fake Cohiba. Cut it right here. We'll just end the torment now.
Yeah. You deserve it.
All right. So enough with your waxing poetical. What have you got for flavor?
I'll give it a 7.
7 on flavor from Nick.
For Nick personally, not cream of the crop. For Nick personally,
yeah, not your wheelhouse.
Yes,
yeah. Okay, so here's what I've got on flavor. First of all, for a cigar this big, for me, it has to change flavors. I just don't want to smoke this much tobacco and get the same note all the way through. I can't think of, many cigars that is this long of a smoke and this much tobacco where I want the same flavor through the whole thing. There are a few, right? I'm thinking of a couple of Padron and Fuente products, but I probably wouldn't want to smoke that much. But the flavor is good enough. The Sobremesa, it's very rare that I'll have a cigar where the flavor is so good I just want that flavor, for 2 hours.
Yeah, if they made the Sobremesa in a woody size,
it
stayed the same, we'd smoke it.
And for some, context for the listener, we are an hour and 20 minutes into smoking this cigar, and I've got 2 inches left on it.
Yep.
Right, so this is an hour and a half, 2-hour smoke. So it did change flavor. Mm-hmm. 2, the flavor profile was sort of mild enough. It's not going to harsh your palate. You can enjoy it in a lot of different contexts. Mm-hmm. It's affordable enough. You want to go fishing for 2 hours? Take the cigar.
Yes.
You want to grill? Fucking smoke this cigar.
Yes.
Football party.
Yes.
Lounge.
Yes.
Hanging with the guys.
Yep.
Sitting in somebody's shitty garage, just smoking a cigar.
Damn, dude.
Same. Not a celebration cigar, but also nice enough. I would absolutely gift this to somebody in a heartbeat.
Easy.
And you can gift it to a lot of people because you don't have to be like super resistant to cigar strength to smoke it.
Yep.
Someone gets married, you could gift them this. Perfect gift for a firefighter, obviously. But for anybody else, just a delicious smoke.
The flavor and construction are very accessible.
Very accessible. And the flavors that comprise the cigar work so well together, and they're kind of a part of the palate that is often unexplored, especially among some of the Maduro cigars I've smoked. Mm-hmm. The Pledge, for example, much stronger. We smoked that last week.
Yep.
Much stronger cigar, and a lot of the stronger flavors in there. And this one's like flirting with burnt toast and charcoal grilled brisket. Yep. And flavors like that.
Yep. Cedar.
Yeah, and the cedar, which has mellowed out.
Yeah.
It's kind of disappeared now. Mm-hmm. But for most of the cigar, you had that warm cedar in there. So I've actually got a 9 for flavor on this.
That's awesome.
I think the accessibility of the flavors, the fact that it transitions and it transitions into really awesome flavors, and they're in the right order.
Yeah.
So we've smoked cigars where it started out and you're like, holy shit, this is a tongue punch, this is awesome, and then like an inch in, you're like, oh, it kind of mellowed out.
Yep.
This went in the right direction.
It did.
Where it kind of gained prominence on the palate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, and then last of all is experience. Nick, what have you got for experience?
The experience was great. All things considered, I think, like I said earlier, I'd like to talk about use case, kind of what you referred to there in the last bit too. But this is like one where you can like eat during the first half of a football game and like light it up at halftime, and like it'll take you to the end of the game.
Yeah.
Fishing, golfing. Really good cigar because it's not super strong.
Yep.
But it's
you
definitely
can do stuff without
feeling like you're
getting green around the gills.
Exactly. Yeah. And then even kind of some of the stuff that we talked about during Tobacco Tip of the Week, like if you wanted to set 2 hours to sit out back and read a book, and you wanted to light a cigar once, puff on it, enjoy it, and have it last for several chapters
without touching it up.
Exactly.
Yep.
It would stay burning well.
Yep.
The flavor wouldn't be irritating. Like the ash holds on, so you're not like ashing all over the book.
Yep.
It's not flaking everywhere.
Yep.
Like that's another really good example of how I think I would use the cigar. So it's an 8 for me for sure.
8 from Nick on experience, and I had an 8 for experience as well. It's just a great overall smoking experience. Again, I'm not gonna like celebrate a wedding with it, but pretty much anything short of celebration and anything above walking your dog, I think it fits in really well.
Yeah.
And I like the accessibility of it and the fact that you're really getting a delicious flavor experience that's accessible.
Yeah.
And that brings the total score to a 40. So not a ton of cigars starting with a 4.
Boom.
On the podcast. So, man, home run from
one of 2 sub $9 cigars that got 40 or up.
Yeah.
Candy Daytona was the other one, I believe.
Which is half the tobacco.
Yeah.
It's literally half the tobacco. Yeah. So there you have it, boys. The Thin Red Line by Fatboy Cigars, 6.5 by 56 Maduro, retailing for $8. You can go to fatboycigars.com and check it out, along with the other offerings in the Boots on the Ground series. Again, Fatboys donates $1 to a charity benefiting our frontline heroes for every Boots on the Ground series that you purchase. Fantastic way that they're engaged in the community and helping out our fellow Americans. So shout out to them for that. And just a final shout out, social media. So jump on Instagram. I'm going to post a post of my 10-ounce gold ingot lighter.
Yeah, you post that post.
I'm going to post that post. There are 3 more of these on the planet. If you want to be one of the lucky fellas or ladies that picks one of these up for $49.99, just comment on the post, with like gold bar.
It literally looks like a gold bar.
I want one.
Yeah.
And you can join the Johnny Midas Club.
Yeah.
Soft flame butane lighter. I love it, and it's so on brand. And this is one of those, like, man, you want to display this, like, on your little cigar thing.
Oh.
Man, this is the one to do.
Yeah.
Conversation piece all day long.
Yeah. If you want to stand out in the lounge subtly and elegantly,
oh, yeah,
that is the thing to do it with.
Dude, everyone is going to be looking at your lighter.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And while you're at it, burnlinepodcast@gmail.com. Drop us a line. We would love to read your email on air. No emails this week. Kind of disappointed. I was hoping Angel would jump on and make fun of you again. Mm-hmm. But we hope to hear from you guys. This is your show. If you have any suggestions, highlights, things that you would like to see us do better, and of course, like and subscribe on Spotify and hit that notification bell. And also, there is a question. How did you like this episode on every episode of Burnline? And you can respond to that and leave helpful comments. That helps us make the content better for you guys.
Segment ideas.
Absolutely. Segment ideas.
Topic ideas. Yeah, absolutely.
Cigars anything you want us to smoke.
Yep.
Let us know, and we will make it happen to the best of our abilities. For all of you guys out there on the interwebs, thanks for joining us. We will see you again next week.